The United States Army invests nearly $400 million annually in small business innovation. And here's the thing, it's not just defense tech. We're talking about dual use technologies, AI, robotics, energy sensors, software, and so much more. The Army is a massive organization and has a lot of tech needs. This is non-dilutive funding, meaning you keep your equity, you don't take on any debt, and awards range from $150,000 up to $2 million for R&D funding. But the real opportunity? Phase 3 contracts, which have no dollar limit. Tens of millions of dollars are possible. The best way to leverage this is not to pivot your company to chase military dollars. It's to stay updated on opportunities and apply to the ones that actually fit your technology roadmap. Because this isn't just about funding, it's about opening the door to a massive customer. My name is Josh Baron, and I'm a senior advisor for Akela Consulting. Akela Consulting is an SBIR grant writing firm specializing in dual use technologies. Today, I'm going to walk you through the Army SBIR landscape. We're going to cover how the Army SBIR program works and how to apply. We're going to talk about the 3 funding phases. We're going to talk about xTech prize competition and how that can connect directly to an SBIR contract. And we're going to share real success stories from companies that have won millions. The Army SBIR program is part of a much bigger system. The federal SBIR program funds small businesses roughly $4 billion annually across all the different agencies. The Department of Defense manages roughly half of that budget, close to $2 billion. The Army alone awarded $387.7 million to small businesses in 2024. So how do the cycles work? The DoD runs 3 major SBIR solicitations each year. All military branches can participate, including the major ones, the Army, Navy, Air Force, Space Force, SOCOM, and others, but also smaller DoD agencies like DARPA, Defense Health Agency, and others. They all release their topics as part of these coordinated solicitations. But on top of that, the DoD releases new topics on the first Wednesday of every month. And the Army also does out-of-cycle solicitations. So the bottom line is there is almost always open solicitations, and you're likely to have multiple opportunities that fit the technology you're developing to apply to throughout the year. So who can apply? To be eligible for SBIR funding, you need to meet the following requirements. The first is you need to be US-based for-profit small business with 500 employees or fewer, and at least 51% of your business needs to be owned by US permanent residents or citizens. And the last requirement is the R&D needs to be happening within the United States. If you check those boxes, you're eligible and you can start searching for opportunities. You can find the opportunities either on the Army SBIR website or on the DSIP, which is the Defense SBIR Innovation Portal. You'll find the open topics on both, but you'll only be able to submit on the DSIP. You're going to want to read the topics carefully because they explain exactly what the Army needs, including the technical objectives, the expected deliverables, the funding amounts, and the required technology readiness level, which is talking about how mature your technology is. The Army releases 2 types of topics, and this is going to matter for your strategy. The first are specific topics, which are essentially targeted problems with clear requirements. The Army is describing exactly what capability gap they want filled, what the technology should do, and how they're going to measure success. An example of this might be a specific sensor tech, let's say for autonomous vehicles, or specific details about a battery innovation for use for drones, let's say, or software for defined use cases. And then there are open topics, which are much more flexible, where you're proposing innovative solutions within broader technology areas. Some are going to be more narrowly focused, and others are going to be completely unrestricted, where you can propose solutions the Army hasn't even thought of yet. Some recent examples of this are the AI ML open topic or the hybrid electric powertrains open topic. We also had a battery tech open topic recently. At Akela, we recommend our clients apply to both specific and open topics. Why? Because it dramatically increases the number of relevant opportunities you can pursue. Specific topics where you already have the tech are a great fit. And open topics where you can shape the proposals around your roadmap. This maximizes your shot at securing Army SBIR awards. Let's talk about how the funding actually works. The SBIR program has 3 phases, and understanding them is pretty important. Phase 1 is for proof of concept, and the typical funding amount is somewhere between $150,000 to $250,000 for a 6 to 12 month period. Your goal over this period is to demonstrate scientific and technical merit, feasibility, and commercial potential. In other words, you're trying to prove that your idea works by reaching some sort of technical milestone. The Army receives about 2,000 Phase 1 proposals per year, and they fund roughly between 10 to 13% of them. Yes, it's very competitive, but if you have solid technology that is answering some sort of technical challenge that the Army faces, then you have a real shot. Phase 2 is for the continued development of your technology. Typically, the Phase 2 will follow Phase 1, provided you hit your milestones. And the idea here is because once you've proven feasibility, the Army wants to help you develop it. Phase 2 funding is typically $1 to $2 million for a period of up to 2 years, where in this period you're working to build your prototype, and you're likely going to be working closely with your Army technical point of contact. Now, here's something important. Direct to Phase 2. This is an alternative pathway where you skip Phase 1 entirely. Some Army solicitations are structured specifically as a direct to Phase 2, meaning they don't even offer a Phase 1 option. You go straight to the prototype development, start with the full Phase 2 funding of $1 to $2 million for that up to 2 years timeline. This accelerates everything if you already have some strong feasibility data. Phase 3, which is the real goal, and the reason this entire program exists. This is where the Army becomes your customer. Think about it for a second. The Army invested in your tech from Phase 1 and Phase 2, and now they want the option to buy from you, and they're a massive customer. Phase 3 has no dollar limit because it's not restricted by the SBIR program. It comes from separate procurement funding. We can issue a Phase 3 contract worth millions or even tens of millions of dollars. It's for production, deployment, training, support, all of it. Some companies can build their entire business around Army sales. Just for a second, think about the unique value here. Imagine in terms of an investor. An investor comes in, wants no equity stake, doesn't want a board seat, wants no control. They just want to help you develop your technology with funding. And now they want to become your customer. And you have the right to work with them or not. It's your choice. That's something that's nearly unheard of. Let me give you a real life example. Cougaar Software Incorporated. Cougaar Software are developing a collaborative AI tool for decision support in operational environments. Most recently, they won a direct to Phase 2 from the Army valued at $1.9 million. They've been able to repeat that success across the DoD with SBIR programs from DARPA, Navy, Air Force, and Defense Logistic Agency. In total, they've won over $5.6 million in SBIR funding. Repeating your success across the DoD is actually more common than you think and is a great strategy. You're not limited to one award as a company. You can win multiple SBIRs for different developments, different projects, different agencies. Each one funds a different aspect of your technology roadmap. And this is how you can really scale your R&D budget. Now that we've covered the standard SBIR program, let's talk about the xTech program, which is a different but related pathway. xTech runs competitions to connect small and non-traditional businesses with the Army. This is often an entry point into the Army innovation ecosystem. And the numbers are pretty impressive. They've been running xTech for less than 8 years, and they've already allocated $29 million in prizes. They've also committed, and this is the big one, over $285 million in follow-on contracts. That follow-on contract number shows xTech is not just about winning some prizes, it's about getting on the Army's radar and starting real business with the Army. So let's look at how the xTech program actually works. xTech runs multiple competitions throughout the year. They have different focus areas: AI, autonomy, energy, and even open topic. The prize amounts typically range from $25,000 to $250,000 per stage of the competition. The program is multi-stage. It has pitch rounds, demonstrations, and finals. But the real value is you get direct Army visibility and feedback, and you're able to connect with different Army program managers who have budgets and problems to solve. It's a pathway also to SBIR contracts, where often the finalists will get invited to apply to a Phase 1 or direct to Phase 2, which has a very high likelihood of being successful. Many successful SBIR awardees got their start through xTech. It's a great place to build relationships, also to demonstrate your technology, and then, of course, to convert it to funded contracts. Compound Eye is a great example of this. They develop AI-powered intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance technology. They won multiple xTech competitions and also SBIR awards. They were able to build a relationship with Army stakeholders, and this led to a growing Army partnership, and eventually they landed a $13 million Catalyst Award. Catalyst is a bridge funding program we're going to touch upon in just a minute, but the key point is that xTech opened the door from competition prizes to ultimately to a $13 million contract. So now that we've covered the Army's standard SBIR program as well as the xTech program, let's talk about how you actually get started. First thing you want to do is you want to review the open topics on the Army SBIR website or on the DSIP portal. Look for both specific topics that match your current tech and open topics where you can propose innovations around your roadmap. Register in the DSIP because that's where you're going to submit your proposals. Consider xTech as an entry point, especially if you're new to Army funding. Competitions give you that visibility, feedback, and also the connections, and ultimately can lead to SBIR contracts or follow-on contracts of another type down the line. When you write the proposals, you're going to want to focus on three things. The first is technical merit. Can you actually build this? Second is feasibility. Can it work in real conditions? And the last one is commercialization potential. Does this have a broader application? Because the Army wants solutions that work, that can be deployed, and have potential beyond just military use. There are a few things that are key to remember. The first is you retain ownership when you receive an SBIR investment. This is non-dilutive capital to develop your technology. You're not giving up equity. You're not taking on debt. You're receiving federal funding to solve real problems for a potential massive customer. Also, SBIR funding can open up bigger doors, whether it's developing relationship with government primes because they pay attention to companies that win SBIRs, or if it's to lead to that phase 3 contract later on down the line. And the numbers speak for themselves. The Army SBIR program invested nearly $400 million in small businesses in 2024 alone. The xTech program, less than 8 years old, has already given out close to $285 million in follow-on contracts, and that's in addition to $29 million in prize money. So here's where we come in. At Akela Consulting, we help companies win and leverage opportunities like this Army SBIR program or the xTech program, but also other DoD programs such as AFWERX, Navy, DARPA, and others. But the reality is, it's much bigger than just the DoD. The Department of Energy has a fantastic SBIR program. So does the National Science Foundation, NASA, and lots of other agencies run similar programs where it's based on the same concept. You receive non-dilutive funding, you get to retain equity, and you develop your technology with federal dollars. At Akela, we specialize in SBIR grant writing for dual use in deep tech startups. We lead the entire process from identifying relevant opportunities to crafting winning proposals. Our focus is to help you secure federal funding so you can focus on building your company. If this sounds like something that could fit your company's roadmap, reach out to us to schedule a call. We'll discuss your technology, your goals, and whether pursuing Army SBIR or other federal funding programs makes sense for you. Not every company is a fit, and that's okay. But if you are, we can help you navigate this landscape and potentially win awards together. Feel free to reach out to us on our website, www.akelaconsultants.com, or email me directly, josh@akelaconsultants.com. Thank you and have a great day.